Hello, my name is Margaret Wong, and I'm an immigration lawyer practicing for close to 50 years. Together with me, it's my important guest, the Honorable Roberto, and I know I'm going to mispronounce your last name, is Nicolas. Yes. It's the Honorary Consul of Mexico. And I'm blessed to have him here because with the new political situation coming up, personally, I would like to hear his views on his idea of what's going to happen in the next 4 years, and how does it feel to be a Mexican consul at this bad time? I mean, it's the right time for his career. And sir, can you explain to our listeners who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Attorney Wong. I really appreciate the invitation. I'm Roberto Nicolas, Consul of Mexico in Detroit. From the consulate, we cover Michigan and the northern part of Ohio. We give out services to Mexican nationals. We give out passports, consular IDs, voting cards for voting in Mexico, and as well we do legal services. That's what we partner with attorneys like yourself to give out advice to Mexican nationals whenever they have any interaction with authorities, and among other things that we do, creating bridges between universities in Mexico and universities here, and obviously in business as well, trying to make more bridges between businesses here and businesses in Mexico.
Another thing that my friend here didn't tell you that really they do that I was very impressed with is I have quite a lot of friends who wants to move to Mexico. It's beautiful to live there in the gated communities, and they have a lot of hired help, and it's more reasonable to have, especially when your health is not that good, you have dementia. I mean, it's better, it's nice. So my friends would call the consuls, and they'll issue the residency or the visas for American people to go to Mexico, which I was very impressed because I always thought only Mexicans wants to come up to America, not so much Americans wants to go there. One thing, since I've met you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity, I've been studying Mexican politics because I started doing, or our law firm started doing Hispanic or Latino work only about 8-10 years ago. And since then, our translator help our lawyers. We really are learning the Spanish, the Spain versus very close to Filipino people, very close to, and they want to get a Spanish passport and, stuff like that. Now the new thing is the Chinese and the Russians or Ukrainians. Instead of going to Canada to get a Canadian passport, to get an e-visa, to get a TN visa, they're going to Mexico now. It's more reasonable, and to get a Mexican passport, and that's why I love my job, because I hear the newest trend of people who in the olden days, they all go to Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Now they're going to Mexico to invest in something, to get the Mexican passport. Then they can use the Mexican nationality to come to America on a TN visa, E2. Because China, India have no E2, no TN, they only have H1, and there's a certain limit of 65,000. So Mexico is a new country for people like us to go to get your passport and then come to America.
Yes, Mexico is a destiny for immigration. We have immigration from all over the world. Mexico has the biggest expat population of the United States in Mexico, in one country. I mean, it's in Mexico. We have more than 1 million Americans living in Mexico, and it's as you said, we issue visas for permanent residents of Americans to Mexico, but also from other nationalities, and people who wants to come do business in Mexico, they will find open arms, regardless nationality. So as you mentioned, if somebody goes to live to Mexico, depending on the nationality, they will have certain period of time, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 5 years of living as a permanent resident, and after that they can get the nationality. and they can become dual nationals. We have a lot of dual nationals between Mexico and the United States, either because American nationals go to Mexico and become Mexican nationals, or because there are Mexican nationals that come to work here and have kids here, and they have dual nationals as well. So the population that we share between the United States and Mexico is huge, and we not only share the big border, we share a lot with the United States. We share population, now a lot of customs. We have a strong commercial relationship that will get over time, and we are a huge area, very competitive area in North America for a lot of things. So I think we're strong partners.
Talk about that high educational level of the Mexican people. Of course, there's wealth disparity. That's another problem Mexico faces.
Yes, and I think that is what the current government is trying to do. It's trying to go to the root causes and trying to level the field for everybody, getting focus on poverty, get rid of poverty, and getting to the root causes that cause a lot of problems. So I think if we have the government that it was popularly elected, we have the first woman leader in North America. That's amazing, and fortunately, they are doing the mandate of the people. So where they are working and leveling the field, they are doing a lot of work in that regard. But regarding the people that come here are not highly educated, we have just in Detroit area, we have around 11,000 families of Mexican origin that at least one of the member of the family is related to the automotive industry. And they are highly educated professionals, engineers, developers, very highly educated. And these migration Mexican nationals come, work, and then they stay for the time their permit is done, and they come back to Mexico. And it is a really intense moving of families. Sometimes they stay, sometimes they get hired, sometimes they get sponsored by the company because they don't want to lose a person of that value, highly technically educated, and they sponsor them to stay here. But that is still a really good connection with Mexico, because we don't see it as people that left. People still have that connection back with Mexico, and as you mentioned, they have properties back in Mexico. They can come back whenever they want, and that's really advantageous for both countries, for Mexico and the United States.
So, but I'm so thankful of your government to giving us all a chance to know you, because that's one thing they have been doing for the past few years, is to really collaborate with Tri-C University, our Catholic Diocese in Cleveland. Mr. Roberto is also meeting them, talking about the Mexican nationals, and talking about how we can all work together to give scholarships for especially the children of Mexicans, because I think it's sort of hard because their parents don't speak English, but they are born here, so they're riding between two horizons. And also people who were deported, and then the American-born children have to go with them, and they have to come back when the kids are getting older. So it's just a very difficult time. Do you also work with the mayors of City Hall, the sheriffs, and the police department to tell them that not all, of course our government tell them not all Mexican people are like bad people?
We work very closely with a lot of authorities, with mayors, with sheriffs, with police departments. We have a department specifically for that. It's our Legal Affairs and Protection Department that gets into contact with authorities. in every level. So we do have this constant communication with them, reminding them the importance of the consular notification for the due process, reminding them that the consul is there for helping in case they have detained a Mexican national, and we're there. We're working with a lot of mayors, mainly big cities. We have been here in Cleveland working with mayor, and we have been in other cities as well working with.
In the last few weeks, the newspaper in Ohio has been talking about Butler County. There's certain counties, Lipstick is another one, who's I think is sort of racist, and I just wonder if there's any way maybe we can host, because I'm not government or, either part of the government, I'm just a private citizen. Maybe we can host something for Ohio to invite you all if you don't mind coming. But these are tough. These are tough. It's scary. So you don't mind coming to meet with them?
I don't mind.
Because people who meet you know that you are good people. You have your people here.
Conversations are always really important, and whether it's immigrants or whether are law enforcement, they both have to respect the law, and that is the law of the land. So it is important that that is our playing field for everybody. So we have to talk in that sense, in that regard, and I'm sure we have really productive conversations with each other.
And that's why you are a great diplomat. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roberto. Thank you. Maybe that will be our next goal, is to really try to put all of us together, because until I represent a lot of Latinos, Hispanics, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what, but a lot of, especially Mexican, Central Americans, we are very successful people, and we work so hard, so. And Mr. Roberto, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.